Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Today we're talking about the Trump effect on the economy and on commercial real estate. Please welcome my next guest is David Kessler. He's the National Director of the Real Estate Industry Practice with CohnReznick. David, thanks for joining us today on Skype.
Hey, Michael, it's always good to be here. Thanks for having me.
David, business owners, real estate investors, always trying to predict the future. Here we are with a President-elect Trump, who's not in office yet. There's been a lot said about changes that Trump's going to make. He's going to drain the swamp, right? And one of the things is corporate tax rates and individual tax rates. You guys are an accounting firm. You're the real estate guy there. What's that mean for businesses, growth, and commercial real estate? And is it going to happen?
Yeah, well, Michael, that's the million-dollar question. Is it going to happen? We don't know if it's going to happen, but I will tell you he's proposing some really dramatic changes that are going to reduce the tax rates for individuals and have some alternative treatment for businesses that we really haven't been accustomed to seeing. One is that the individual tax rate is going to go down from a high of 39% to anywhere from 12, 25, or 33%. He's cutting the rates down to 3 different tranches. The corporate tax rate will go down to 15% from 35%. And there's something unique. He's proposing a pass-through tax. So most real estate entities, as you know, are owned. Most real estate is owned in LLCs or partnerships, and there's going to be an election to tax the pass-through partnership or LLC, which doesn't get taxed now. That gets rolled up into the individual tax rates. There's an election to tax the pass-through entity at 15%, which is a dramatic reduction from the highest individual proposed rate of 33%.
And would that just be real estate, David? Would that also be small businesses that are held as an LLC?
Yeah, absolutely. Good point, Michael. That would be not just real estate. That would be any businesses that are operated in LLCs. So there's a suggestion that there could be potentially more pass-through entities created. The other thing is with carried interest. The proposal would be, as we've heard for many years now, he's as well proposing to eliminate the carried interest benefit, and that would be taxed at ordinary income. However, most of the carried interest is earned through pass-through entities, so that would have a rate of 15%, which is even lower than the capital gains rate. Other proposals are to eliminate the alt-min tax, which would have an impact. All this, I think, is going to have an impact on both individual savings and spending, as well as business investment. There's a proposal that a business could elect to expense immediately the acquisition of structures, furnitures and fixtures, and equipment. That changes the whole depreciation rules as we knew it, and a business could deduct immediately the acquisition of structures and carry over the unused deductions to future years. But with that would come the elimination of the interest expense deduction if such an election was made to fully expense the acquisition.
Wow, that would be a big change. What do you hear about the 1031 exchange? Is there a chance that would get adjusted?
I'm hearing 2 things. One, I'm hearing that it could get adjusted within this new deduction for structures, but I think it's going to stick around. I think that it's very valuable element of the tax code to defer and roll over. So I'm not sure which way that's going to go. The projection is that GDP is going to be increased anywhere from 1% to 3% within the first couple years, but then there's also predictions because of the dramatic reduction in taxes that GDP would decline in later years. So there's a lot to work through this tax plan.
Right. And one of the things that impacts commercial real estate is employment, right? So if companies are more confident, or maybe if they have lower tax rates, might they expand more? How might this affect employment moving forward?
I think it's going to have a positive impact on employment, and I think what we're going to see is some of his other proposals relating to some relief with Dodd-Frank and some relief in some of the other regulations. That has really impacted a lot of the commercial real estate industry, including single-family home building, with the increase in regulations. I think we're going to see more home building. I think we're going to see more investment. I think we're going to see more development. And clearly, he's a proponent of infrastructure development, which is going to have a tremendous impact on jobs. And I think we're going to see more jobs in skilled labor and trade areas. So, there's going to be a booming economy with job training, community college, trade skills, and a lot of newly created jobs and income increase in areas that really haven't seen that much of an increase over the last 8 years in this current cycle.
And you mentioned Dodd-Frank, so it seems like the lenders are under a lot of regulations, and it seemed to be slowing down the lending business here lately. So what are the chances that does get adjusted, do you think?
I think there's going to be some relief. If you look at the CMBS, there's been a decline in business over the last 2 years, and the risk retention rules went into effect in December. So the big question is, with the $89 billion of maturities over the next year and a half or two, what's going to be the replacement for that? And, not only the CMBS and money center banks, but the big question is, what's the impact going to be with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which have gotten to the point of being extremely profitable now, and such a major impact within the multifamily space, as well as single family, but predominantly multifamily. So there's a big question mark as to what the new administration's approach is going to be to Fannie and Freddie as well.
Right. We're talking with David Kessler with the accounting firm of CohnReznick about the impact of the Trump effect on the economy and commercial real estate. So, David, having said all this, we don't really know for sure everything that's going to happen where we are today. What is your advice to business owners that are running big companies today, and commercial real estate practitioners and people who own commercial real estate?
Michael, my advice is stick to the fundamentals. No matter what, focus on good real estate, sound transactions, good underwriting. Stick to the fundamentals. Where you're seeing job growth, where you're seeing the live, work, play. We're seeing a lot with mixed use, and that's what you need to stay focused on. We're going to see interest rates creep up, and I think get as much as you can in the way of information on how any of these proposals are going to affect your business, and stay tuned, because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for planning and strategy.
Right. And what do you expect for interest rates? I know none of us really know, but what do you think might happen, say, a year from now with the interest rates that people are paying for commercial real estate loans?
I think we're going to see them tick up with these plans, with the additional increase in disposable income, additional retained earnings from businesses that would be available for investment. I think we're gonna see an increase in demand, an increase in the GDP, and I believe that's going to also serve to increase inflation, which will increase interest rates. So I think we're in store. We're not going to see them go lower, that's for sure.
All right, well, final question for you, David. We appreciate you being on. How might this impact the cycle? It seems like we've been in a great cycle for a long time. What is it, about 8 years? Will this Trump election maybe extend the cycle, when we do hit a down cycle, make it worse? What are your crystal ball predictions?
Well, I think that we're going to see continued strength within this cycle, but I think we're going to see pause over the next year. We're already seeing, with $239 billion of dry powder for capital for real estate investment on the sidelines. We've seen some pause with development, cherry picking key sites. We're seeing a little bit of slowdown with rent growth. I think that it's going to be a time of pause over the next couple years, but I think that it could serve to extend the cycle a little bit further.
That's excellent news. Well, David, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being on.
My pleasure. Thank you.
If you like more from David, reach out to him at CohnReznick.com. Well, stay with us. We'll have more on the Trump effect on the economy and commercial real estate. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. Stay with us. Hey there, thanks for checking out the Commercial Real Estate Show. Don't miss a video of special interest to you. Be sure to subscribe below. And if you appreciate the videos, be sure and thank our sponsors. There's a link to more information about them in the description. For more videos, podcasts, and articles, check out CREshow.com.